Minho said he had an important guest coming. He didn't mention it was the one man Kiara never wanted to see again. The moment Jae-won walked into that office and saw his 7 months pregnant ex-wife serving tea in a maid's uniform, the entire room froze. His hands clenched. Her breath stopped. The teacups rattled on the silver tray. 7 months ago, he'd thrown her out like garbage, telling her she meant nothing. Now she was working for his worst enemy, carrying his child, and trapped in a game she didn't understand. What Jae-won did next shocked everyone in that room. But what Kiara didn't know was that Minho had been planning this reunion for weeks, and the baby she carried was the key to destroying them both. Kiara's back hurt, not the normal kind of hurt that goes away when you sit down. This was the deep, burning kind that starts in your spine and spreads like fire. She pressed one hand against her lower back and used the other to steady the silver tea tray. 7 months pregnant and scrubbing floors for a man she barely knew. Life had a sick sense of humor. The marble floor in Minho's office gleamed under her work. She could see her reflection in it, distorted and tired. Her baby kicked, hard, right against her ribs. Kiara winced, but kept moving. 2 more hours until her shift ended. 2 more hours until she could lie down in that tiny room at the back of the estate and pretend her life hadn't fallen apart. Kiara. Minho's voice cut through the silence. She looked up from where she knelt on the floor. He sat behind his massive desk, watching her with those cold, calculating eyes. "I have guests coming in 10 minutes. Make sure the tea is perfect. No mistakes." "Yes, sir." She pushed herself up slowly, one hand bracing against the wall. Her stomach was so big now that simple movements felt like climbing mountains. Minho's eyes flickered to her belly, then back to her face. Something almost like amusement crossed his features. "You look tired." "I'm fine." "Good. Because today's guest is very important, very particular." He paused, and Kiara swore she saw him smile. "I think you might know him, actually." Her heart skipped. "I don't know any of your business associates, sir." "We'll see." Minho turned back to his computer screen, dismissing her. Kiara made her way to the kitchen, every step deliberate. The baby kicked again. She whispered to her stomach, "I know, little one. I know. Just a few more weeks, and we can leave this place. I promise." But promises felt hollow these days. 3 months ago, her mother had died. The hospital bills came next, mountains of debt that crushed whatever savings Kiara had managed to scrape together. Then came the desperate choice: return to Seoul, the city she swore she'd never see again, or lose everything. Seoul meant memories. Seoul meant pain. Seoul meant him. She pushed the thought away and focused on preparing the tea. Green tea, the expensive kind, Minho kept for special guests. Her hands shook slightly as she arranged the cups on the tray. The baby kicked again, stronger this time. "Stop it," she muttered. "You're making this harder." "Talking to yourself now?" One of the other maids, Young-soo, walked past with a smirk. "That's sad, even for you." Kiara didn't respond. Jung-soo had made her life miserable since day one, but she couldn't afford to make waves. She needed this job, needed the money, needed to survive until the baby came. The doorbell chimed, deep, resonant. Kiara's stomach twisted, though she couldn't say why. She lifted the tray and headed back toward Minho's office. Through the hallway, past the expensive paintings she wasn't allowed to touch, through the door that was always open when guests arrived. She kept her eyes down, the way Minho preferred. Entered the office quietly. The guest had his back to her, looking out the window at Seoul's skyline. Tall, broad shoulders. Something about his stance made her heart race. No, it couldn't be. "Ah, Jae-won." Minho's voice dripped with false warmth. Right on time. The man turned. Kiara's world stopped. Jae-won, her ex-husband, the man who had destroyed her, the man whose baby she carried, standing 3 feet away, staring at her like he'd seen a ghost. His face went white. Actually white. His eyes dropped to her stomach, then back to her face. She watched him process it all, watched the shock, the confusion, the anger flash across his features in seconds. Kiara. Her name came out strangled. The tea tray shook in her hands. She couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. The room tilted. You two know each other? Minho's voice was honey-sweet and absolutely venomous. How wonderful. Jae-won took a step toward her. Kiara stepped back. The teacups rattled. I'll put this down. Her voice came out barely above a whisper. She moved to the desk and set the tray down with shaking hands, turned to leave. Wait. Jae-won's hand shot out, not touching her, but blocking her path. We need to talk. I'm working. She kept her eyes down. Kiara, look at me. I said I'm working. How long? How far along are you? Minho laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, this is better than I expected. Jae-won, are you telling me you didn't know your ex-wife was pregnant? Stay out of this. Jae-won didn't take his eyes off Kiara. I'm afraid I can't. She's my employee, and we were just about to have a very important business discussion. Minho leaned back in his chair. Kiara, you can go, but stay close. I might need you. She didn't wait for permission, bolted from the room as fast as a 7 months pregnant woman could bolt. Behind her, she heard Jae-won call her name. She didn't stop. Down the hallway, past Young-soo's curious stare, into the kitchen, where she could finally breathe. Her hands gripped the counter. The baby kicked frantically, sensing her panic. Tears burned behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not here. Not where people could see. 7 months ago, Jae-won had ripped her heart out, told her she was nothing, that their marriage had been a mistake, that he'd never loved her. Then he'd handed her money like she was some prostitute he was paying off and told her to leave Korea and never come back. She'd left, found out about the baby a week later, alone in a dingy apartment in New York, and she'd decided right then that he would never know. He didn't deserve to know. But now he knew, and everything was about to get so much worse. Before we continue with what happened next, do me a favor. If you're enjoying this story and want to see how Kiara escapes this impossible situation, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens when Jae-won finds out the whole truth. Now, back to the story. In Minho's office, the temperature had dropped about 20 degrees. Jae-won stood rigid, every muscle in his body screaming at him to go after Kiara. But Minho sat there with that snake smile, and Jae-won knew this had been planned, knew he'd walked right into a trap. Sit down, Jae-won. Let's talk business. What is she doing here? Jae-won's voice was dead calm, the kind of calm that came before violence. I told you, she's my maid. Has been for 2 months now. Excellent worker, very thorough. A bit slow these days, but given her condition, I make allowances. 2 months? Jae-won's mind raced. 2 months ago, right after, no. You knew who she was. Of course I knew. Minho poured himself tea. Didn't offer any to Jae-won. When a pregnant American woman shows up desperate for work, I do my research. Imagine my surprise when I discovered she was your ex-wife. The wife you divorced so suddenly and so cruelly 7 months ago. Right around the time she would have gotten pregnant, if my math is correct. If you hurt her, I'll kill you. Hurt her? I gave her a job when no one else would. I gave her a place to live. I've been nothing but generous. Minho's smile widened, but I appreciate the concern. Very touching. Very exploitable. Jae-won's hands curled into fists. What do you want? The same thing I've always wanted. Gangnam. So your territory, your operations, everything you took from my father. I took nothing. I earned it. Semantics. Minho waved a hand. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign over your Gangnam holdings to me, all of them. In exchange, I'll make sure nothing happens to Kiara or that baby she's carrying. You're threatening a pregnant woman. I'm offering her protection. There's a difference. Seoul is dangerous for a woman alone, especially one connected to you. Who knows what could happen? An accident. A fall down the stairs. Stress can cause early labor, you know. And at 7 months, the baby might not survive. Jae-won moved. 1 second, he was across the room. The next, his hand was around Minho's throat, slamming him against the bookshelf behind his desk. Books tumbled. Minho's guards burst through the door, hot guns drawn. Call them off, Jae-won growled. Minho held up a hand. The guards hesitated but didn't lower their weapons. You're making a scene, and you know what happens when you make a scene in my house? Kiara hears about it. Kiara gets scared. Scared pregnant women do unpredictable things. Jae-won released him, stepped back. Every instinct screamed at him to tear this place apart, find Kiara, and get her out. But Minho was right. Any violence here would only make things worse for her. I need to talk to her. No. Minho straightened his collar. You need to leave. And you need to think very carefully about my offer. You have 24 hours to decide. Gangnam for her safety. Seems like an easy choice to me. She'd never want me to make that deal. Then don't tell her. She doesn't need to know the business arrangements between men. She just needs to stay safe. Minho moved back to his desk. Now get out. You're upsetting my staff. Jae-won wanted to argue, wanted to refuse, but he looked at the door Kiara had fled through, and all he could think about was keeping her safe. Even if she hated him. Even if she never wanted to see him again. He left. But this wasn't over. Not even close. In the kitchen, Kiara tried to stop shaking. The other maids whispered in the corner, shooting her looks. She ignored them. Focused on washing dishes that were already clean. Anything to keep her hands busy. So that's your ex-husband? Young-soo appeared beside her. The one who dumped you? I don't want to talk about it. He's handsome. Rich, too, from the look of him. Why'd he leave you? You cheat on him or something? Kiara's jaw clenched. Go away. Touchy. I'm just saying, if my husband looked like that and had that kind of money, I'd have tried harder to keep him happy. But I guess American girls don't understand how to treat a Korean man properly. The dish in Kiara's hand cracked. She'd been gripping it too hard. A thin line split down the middle of the porcelain. She set it down carefully before she broke it completely. That's coming out of your pay, Jung-soo said cheerfully, then walked away. Kiara pressed her forehead against the cool metal of the sink. The baby kicked. She put a hand on her stomach. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. You're stuck with such a mess of a mother. Kiara, Minho's voice from the doorway. She straightened immediately. Come with me. Her heart sank. She followed him to his office. The tea service was still there, untouched. Minho closed the door behind her. Sit. She sat, awkward with her belly. Minho walked around his desk, but didn't sit. Stood looking down at her. Your ex-husband is very concerned about you. She said nothing. He seems to think I might hurt you. Funny, isn't it? The man who threw you away now wants to protect you. What do you want from me, sir? The same thing I've always wanted, your cooperation. But now things are more interesting. He smiled. Did you know Jae-won and I are rivals? Of course you did. That's why you looked so terrified when he walked in. I didn't know you two knew each other. I didn't expect to see him. Liar. Minho's voice was soft. But that's okay. I like that you're smart enough to lie. It means you're smart enough to understand what I'm about to tell you." She waited, dread pooling in her stomach. "Jae-won is going to try to get you out of here. He's going to offer you money, protection, everything. And you're going to refuse." "I don't want anything from him anyway." "Good. Because if you leave this house, if you go with him, I will make sure that baby never takes a first breath." He said it calmly, like he was discussing the weather. "Do you understand?" Her blood turned to ice. "You can't. That's insane. I can do whatever I want. You owe me money, remember? I paid for your mother's funeral. I gave you a job when you were desperate. And you're going to repay that debt by staying here and doing exactly what I tell you. You're using me to get to him. Finally, you understand. Yes, I'm using you. And you're going to let me, because the alternative is your daughter dies." "Daughter?" Her voice cracked. "It's a girl, isn't it? I saw the ultrasound report on your medical forms." He leaned against his desk. "Pretty little thing from the pictures. Be a shame if something happened." Kiara's hands moved protectively to her stomach. Tears burned in her eyes. "Please. She's innocent. She hasn't done anything." "Then make sure you don't either. Stay here. Work. When Jae-won comes, and he will come, you tell him you don't want his help. You tell him to leave you alone. Play your part, and when this is all over, I'll let you go with enough money to start fresh anywhere you want." "And if I refuse?" "You won't." Minho's smile was all teeth. "You're a mother. Mothers do anything to protect their children, even let themselves be used." He was right. She hated that he was right. But he was. "Can I go?" "One more thing. He'll try to talk to you alone. He'll make promises. Don't believe him. Jae-won destroys everything he touches. You know that better than anyone." She did know that. She had the scars to prove it. Minho waved her away. She left on shaking legs, made it back to her small room before the tears finally came. Silent, bitter tears that soaked her pillow as she curled around her belly. "I'll protect you," she whispered to her daughter. "No matter what it costs. I promise." But in the back of her mind, a voice whispered that some promises were impossible to keep. 3 days passed. 3 days of Kiara jumping at every sound, expecting Jae-won to appear. But he didn't come. Minho seemed almost disappointed. "Your ex-husband is smarter than I thought," he said one morning. "Or maybe he just doesn't care as much as he pretended." The words stung more than they should have. Kiara said nothing, just continued dusting the bookshelves in his office. Then, on the 4th day, everything changed. She was in the garden, hanging laundry. The doctor had told her to stay active, keep moving. The fresh air helped her think. She was pinning up one of Minho's expensive shirts when she felt someone watching her. She turned. Jae-won stood at the garden gate. He looked terrible. Shadows under his eyes, hair messed up like he'd been running his hands through it. Their eyes met across the garden. Neither moved. Finally, Kiara looked away, went back to hanging laundry. Maybe if she ignored him, he'd leave. He didn't leave. He walked toward her, slow and careful, like approaching a wild animal. "Kiara, please, just talk to me. I'm working. 5 minutes. No. I need to know, is the baby mine?" Her hand stilled on the clothespin. "Does it matter?" "Of course it matters." "Why?" "You made it very clear 7 months ago that you wanted nothing to do with me. That extends to any baby. I didn't know you were pregnant. Because I didn't tell you. Because you didn't deserve to know." She turned to face him. "You called me a mistake. You said loving me was the stupidest thing you'd ever done. You threw money at me and told me to disappear. So I did. And now you don't get to show up and pretend you care." "I do care." "You care about your pride. You care that your enemy has something of yours under his roof, but you don't care about me. You never did." That hit him. She saw it in his face. Good. Let him hurt. "That's not true." The divorce, it wasn't. I had reasons. I don't want to hear them. I want you to leave me alone. Kiara, please. He took a step closer. She took a step back. You're 7 months pregnant, working as a maid for a dangerous man. Let me help you. I don't need your help. Yes, you do. Minho is using you to get to me. Can't you see that? I see that I have a job and a place to live. That's more than I had a month ago. I'll give you money, an apartment, whatever you need. Just get away from him. No. Why? Why are you being so stubborn? Because Minho threatened my baby. Because I'm terrified. Because I have no choices left. But she couldn't say any of that. So instead, she said, because I don't want anything from you. I'd rather scrub floors than take your charity. It's not charity. That's my child. This is my child. You gave up any rights when you destroyed our marriage. I'm not asking for rights. I'm asking you to be safe. I am safe. With Minho? Are you insane? He's a criminal. And what are you, Jae-won? She finally looked at him directly. You think I don't know what you really are? I figured it out. After the divorce, I put the pieces together. The late-night meetings. The money that never quite made sense. The men with guns who called you sir. You're just like him, maybe worse. His face went pale. You know. I know enough. So don't stand there and pretend you're better than Minho. You're the same. The only difference is I was stupid enough to marry you. Kiara. His voice broke. Please. I'm trying to protect you. I don't want your protection. I want you to leave. I can't do that. You did it once before. Do it again. Behind them, someone cleared their throat. They both turned. One of Minho's guards stood at the garden entrance. Miss Kiara, Mr. Min wants to see you. She grabbed the laundry basket, walked away from Jae-won without looking back. Her heart was pounding. Her hands were shaking, but she kept walking. This isn't over, Jae-won called after her. She didn't respond. Couldn't. Because if she opened her mouth, she'd either scream or cry, and she refused to do either in front of him. In Minho's office, he was smiling. You did well. Very convincing. He won't give up. No, he won't, which is exactly what I'm counting on. Minho pulled out a file. I have a new task for you. Tomorrow night, I'm having a dinner party. Important clients. You'll be serving. I'm 7 months pregnant. I can barely stay on my feet for a full shift. Then I suggest you rest today, because tomorrow you need to be perfect. Jae-won will be there. Her heart sank. Why? Because I invited him, and because he'll come, knowing you'll be there. He's predictable that way. Love makes men stupid. He doesn't love me, doesn't he? Minho's smile widened. We'll see tomorrow night. Now go rest. You look exhausted. She left, her mind racing. Tomorrow night. A dinner party. Jae-won would be there. And Minho was planning something that would use her as bait. She had to find a way out, had to protect her baby. But how? She had no money, no friends in Seoul, nowhere to run. Minho had made sure of that. In her small room, now she lay down and felt her daughter kick. Strong, insistent kicks. A fighter. You get that from me, Kiara whispered. Your grandmother was a fighter too. She never gave up, even when things were impossible. Her mother. God, she missed her mother. If she were alive, she'd know what to do. She'd have some brilliant plan. But her mother was gone, buried in a cemetery in New York that Kiara couldn't even afford to visit. The medical bills had been crushing. Even with insurance, the cancer treatment had cost everything. And when her mother died, Kiara had been left with debts she couldn't pay, and a baby on the way. Coming back to Seoul had been an act of desperation. She'd never imagined she'd end up here, trapped between her criminal ex-husband and his equally criminal rival, with her daughter's life hanging in the balance. But she was here, and she had to survive it. Tomorrow night. She had until then to figure something out. Anything. Her daughter kicked again. Kiara put both hands on her belly. "I'll get us out of this," she promised. Somehow. But as she closed her eyes, all she could see was Jaewon's face. The shock when he'd seen her. The desperate need in his voice when he'd begged her to let him help. 7 months ago, she'd loved him with everything she had. And 7 months ago, he'd ripped her apart. She couldn't afford to love him again. Couldn't afford to trust him, even if part of her, a stupid, broken part, still wanted to. The next evening came too fast. Kiara stood in the kitchen with the other servers, all of them in formal uniforms. Hers had to be specially ordered to fit over her belly. She looked ridiculous, felt ridiculous. "Ma, remember," the head servant said. "Perfect service. These are very important guests. No mistakes." Kiara nodded. Her back already hurts. It was going to be a long night. The guests arrived in expensive cars, men in dark suits, women dripping in jewelry. Kiara kept her head down, serving drinks, clearing plates. Invisible. That's what she needed to be. Then Jaewon arrived. He walked in like he owned the place, confident, powerful. Every eye in the room turned to him, and every eye watched as his gaze immediately found Kiara across the room. Their eyes locked. She looked away first, forced herself to keep moving, keep working. The dinner was torture. She had to serve Jaewon's table, had to stand next to him, close enough to smell his cologne. The same cologne she used to steal from his bathroom. The scent made her throat tight. "Wine?" she asked quietly. "No, thank you." His voice was gentle, like she might break. She moved to the next guest, felt Jaewon's eyes on her the entire time. Her hands shook. Wine sloshed in the bottle. She steadied herself. Focus. Just get through tonight. But Minho had other plans. The air in the dining room felt heavy enough to crush ribs. Kiara moved from table to table, silver tray balanced carefully against her hip. Her legs burned. 7 months pregnant meant every step took effort. Every breath felt like work. She poured wine for a man in a black suit, moved to the next guest, kept her head down. Don't look at him. Don't think about him. Just work. But she could feel Jaewon's eyes on her, burning into her back, following her every movement. Minho sat at the head table, swirling champagne in his glass, and he was enjoying this, every uncomfortable second. "More wine, Jaewon?" Minho asked loudly. "No." Jaewon's voice was tight, controlled, dangerous. "You seem tense tonight. Is the food not to your liking?" "The food is fine." "Then what's bothering you?" Minho smiled. "You keep staring at my staff." The other guests shifted uncomfortably. They could feel the tension, like electricity before lightning strikes. Kiara kept moving, serving, invisible. That's what she needed to be. A guest at table 3 snapped his fingers at her. "You, more bread." She brought the basket over. Her hand shook slightly. The guest didn't notice. Jaewon did. His jaw clenched. His knuckles went white around his glass. "Careful, Jaewon," Minho said quietly. "You'll break that." "I'm fine." "Are you? You look like you want to kill someone." "Just tired." Well, don't let me keep you if you need to leave early." "I'll stay." Minho's smile widened. "Wonderful. We have dessert coming. And entertainment." Kiara's stomach dropped. Entertainment? What did that mean? She found out 20 minutes later. After the main course was cleared, Minho stood, tapped his glass with a knife. The room went quiet. "Thank you all for coming tonight. As you know, this dinner celebrates new partnerships, new opportunities." He looked directly at Jaewon. New understandings between old rivals. Polite applause. "And to honor this occasion, I've arranged something special. a traditional Korean tea ceremony, performed by someone very special to this house. No. No, no, no. Kiara, come here, please. Every head turned to look at her. She stood frozen by the kitchen door. Don't be shy, Minho said. His voice was honey-sweet and absolutely venomous. She had no choice. She walked forward slowly, her heart hammered against her ribs. Jae-won half rose from his chair. Minho held up a hand. Please, Jae-won, don't interrupt. This is a cultural moment. Jae-won sat back down, but his eyes never left Kiara. A small table had been set up in the center of the room. Tea ceremony supplies laid out perfectly. Kiara had practiced this last week. Minho had insisted. She hadn't understood why. Now she did. She knelt behind the table. Her belly made it difficult. She adjusted, trying to find a comfortable position. There wasn't one. Begin, Minho said. Her hands trembled as she picked up the teapot. She went through the motions, heating the water, warming the cups, measuring the tea leaves. Everyone watched in silence. Jae-won's face was stone, but his eyes, God, his eyes were screaming. She poured the first cup, offered it to Minho. He accepted with a gracious nod. Now, serve our guest of honor, Minho said. Jae-won deserves the best service, don't you think? She had to approach Jae-won, had to kneel in front of him, had to offer him tea with both hands while 7 months pregnant with his child. Minho had choreographed this perfectly. Maximum humiliation. Maximum pain. She knelt, offered the cup. Jae-won didn't take it immediately. He looked at her face, really looked. She kept her eyes down. Kiara, he said quietly. Just her name, but it held 1,000 words. Please take the tea, sir, she whispered. His hand shook as he reached for the cup. Their fingers brushed. The touch sent electricity through her arm. He took the tea, set it down without drinking. Thank you, he said. You can go now. She stays until the ceremony is complete, Minho interrupted. That's the tradition. So she stayed, kneeling on the hard floor, her back screaming, her baby kicking frantically inside her. The ceremony took 15 minutes. It felt like hours. Finally, Minho dismissed her. Excellent work, Kiara. You may go rest now. She stood slowly, wobbled. Jae-won was on his feet instantly, hand reaching out to steady her. She stepped back. I'm fine. You're not fine. You can barely stand. I said I'm fine. She turned and walked away, fast as she could manage, out of the dining room, down the hallway, into the first bathroom she found. She locked the door, sank onto the closed toilet lid, and put her face in her hands. The baby kicked hard, like she was angry too. I know, baby girl, Kiara whispered. I know. Just a little longer. We'll get through this. But she was starting to wonder if that was true. Outside, the dinner was falling apart. The moment Kiara left, Jae-won stood. We're done here. Sit down, Minho said. Dessert hasn't been served. I don't want dessert. I want to know what game you're playing. Game? I'm simply running my household. You're torturing her. I'm employing her. She's grateful for the work, aren't you, Kiara? Minho called toward the hallway. No answer. She was gone. She came to me desperate, Minho continued. Pregnant. Broke. Nowhere to go. I gave her a job, a roof over her head. I've been very generous. Generous, Jae-won repeated flatly. Or is that what you call making a 7 months pregnant woman kneel on the floor? It's her job. She's a maid. Maids serve. Jae-won took a step forward. His men tensed. Minho's guards reached for their weapons. Gentlemen, please, one of the other guests said nervously. Let's not ruin a lovely evening. The evening is already ruined, Jae-won said. He looked at Minho. Name your price. For what? For her. How much to let her go? Minho pretended to think. She owes me quite a bit. The advance on her salary. the funeral expenses for her mother, room and board for 2 months. Let's say 10 million won. Jae-won didn't hesitate. Done. I'll have it transferred tonight. Oh, but there's a problem. She has to agree to leave, and I don't think she will. Minho smiled. You see, she hates you. She told me so herself. Said she'd rather die than accept your help. You're lying. Am I? Ask her yourself, if you can find her. Jae-won turned and walked out. His men followed. Minho watched him go, then laughed. Too easy. He's so predictable when he's emotional. Jae-won searched the first floor. No Kiara. He tried the kitchen, the garden, the servants' quarters. Finally, he found her in a small bathroom near the laundry room. He knocked. Go away, she called. It's me. I know. Go away. Kiara, please, open the door. No. I'm not leaving. Then stand there all night. I don't care. He tried the handle, locked. He could break it down. Probably should break it down. But he didn't. I'm getting you out of here, he said through the door. I don't want your help. Too bad. You're getting it anyway. You can't just decide things for me. I can when you're in danger. The only danger I'm in is from you. Her voice cracked. You're making everything worse. Every time you show up, Minho gets angrier. He takes it out on me when you leave. That stopped him. What do you mean? What does he do? Nothing. Forget I said anything. Kiara. Just go away, Jae-won. Please. For once in your life, just listen to me and go away. Silence. She waited. Hoped he'd actually leave. Instead, she heard sliding. He'd sat down outside the door. What are you doing? She asked. Waiting. For what? For you to come out. Or for you to tell me the truth, whichever comes first. I'm not coming out while you're here. Then I guess we're both waiting. She wanted to scream, wanted to cry, wanted to open the door and hit him and hug him and ask him why he broke her. Instead, she said, he threatens the baby. Silence outside. What? Jae-won's voice was deadly quiet. Minho, when you leave, when you make offers or cause scenes, he tells me that if I go with you, he'll make sure my baby never takes a first breath. He says accidents happen, that stress can cause miscarriages, that I should be very careful. She heard something hit the wall. Hard. Jae-won's fist, probably. I'm going to kill him, Jae-won said. No, you're going to leave. Because if you kill him, I go to prison too. I'm an accessory. I live in his house. And who takes care of my baby then? I do. You? The man who threw me away? The man who told me I was a mistake? Her voice rose. You don't get to play father now. You lost that right. I know. I know I did. But Kiara, that baby is mine. This baby is mine. I'm the one who's been sick every morning. I'm the one whose body is changing. I'm the one who'll go through labor. Alone. Again. Like I've done everything else. Alone. You're not alone. Yes, I am. I've been alone since the day you kicked me out. I had reasons. I don't care about your reasons anymore. More silence. Then quietly. If I tell you everything, will you listen? Everything? Minho doesn't do anything without a reason. She felt sick, used, manipulated from every direction. I want to leave, she said. Not with you. Just leave. This city, this country, everything. Okay, I'll help you. No, I'll do it myself. Kiara, be reasonable. You're 7 months pregnant with no money and a target on your back. Let me help. Why? So you can control me again? Decide what's best for me? No. So you and my daughter can live. She's not your daughter. She's mine. Biologically, she's ours. Biology doesn't make you a father. Being there makes you a father. And you weren't there, because I was trying to keep you alive. By lying, by breaking me, there had to be another way. There wasn't. I looked, Believe me, I looked for any other option. But my father was too powerful, too paranoid. The only way to save you was to make you hate me enough to run. Well, congratulations. It worked. She tried to stand. Her legs wobbled. Jae-won helped her up. She let him. Hated herself for it. I can't stay here anymore, she said. Min-ho is going to get worse, especially now that you know the truth. Then come with me. Tonight. Right now. Where would we go? I have a safe house, small apartment, clean, secure. You and the baby would be protected. And what do I tell Min-ho? Nothing, we just go. He'll come after us. Let him try. She wanted to say yes, wanted to run, but fear held her back. Fear of Min-ho. Fear of Jae-won. Fear of trusting again and being destroyed. I need time to think, she said. We don't have time. One day. Give me 1 day to figure this out. Jae-won looked like he wanted to argue. Instead, he pulled out a phone. Small, cheap, a burner. Take this. My number is programmed in. If anything happens, if you're scared, if you need help, call me. Anytime. Day or night. She took the phone, slipped it into her pocket. 1 day, she repeated. 1 day. But Kiara, if Min-ho threatens you again, if he touches you, you call me immediately. Promise me. I promise. He didn't look convinced, but he nodded. I'll go. But I'm not far. I'll be watching the house. That's creepy. I don't care. I'm not losing you again. He walked away. She watched him disappear down the hallway. Then she went to her room, locked the door, sat on the bed, pulled out the burner phone. 1 number saved. Jae-won. Her thumb hovered over the call button. She didn't press it. Not yet. But she didn't delete it either. That night, Min-ho summoned her to his office. She went slowly, dreading what was coming. He sat behind his desk, calm, smiling. Sit. She sat. You and Jae-won had quite the conversation tonight. Her blood froze. You were listening. I own this house. I hear everything. He leaned forward. So, he told you about his father, about your mother, about his grand sacrifice. Yes. And you believed him? I don't know what to believe anymore. Smart girl. Min-ho poured himself a drink. Let me tell you what I believe. I believe Jae-won is a liar. I believe he's trying to manipulate you. Again. And I believe the second you trust him, he'll destroy you. Again. Maybe. Definitely. Men like Jae-won don't change. They just get better at hiding what they are. And what are you, Min-ho? A good man? He laughed. No, I never claimed to be. I'm using you to hurt him. I've been honest about that from the beginning. You threatened my baby. I did. And I meant it. Because that baby is the only leverage I have. The only thing that makes Jae-won weak. You're a monster. Perhaps. But I'm an honest monster, which is more than he can say. Kiara stood. Are we done? Not quite. Sit down. She didn't sit. Min-ho sighed. Fine. Stand. But listen carefully. Tomorrow night, I'm having another meeting. Jae-won will be there, and you will serve again, and you will smile, and you will act like nothing is wrong. Do you understand? And if I refuse, then I make a phone call, and very bad men come for you. And your baby doesn't make it to month 8. Tears burned her eyes. I hate you. I know. But you'll do as I say anyway. Because you're a mother. And mothers do anything to protect their children. She left without another word. Went to her room, pulled out the burner phone, called Jae-won. He answered on the first ring. Kiara? I need help. I'm coming. Right now. No. Not here. Tomorrow night. There's another meeting. Min-ho is forcing me to serve again. I don't know what I need. But I can't do this alone anymore. You're not alone. I'll be there. And this time, we're ending this. How? Trust me. I don't trust you. Then trust that I love you, and I love our daughter, and I will burn this entire city down before I let him hurt either of you. She believed him, hated that she believed him. But she did. Okay, she whispered. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. Stay strong, stay safe. I'm coming for you. She hung up, looked at her belly, at the life growing inside her. Your father is either going to save us or get us killed, she told the baby. I really hope it's the first one. The baby kicked, hard. Yeah, Kiara said. I'm nervous too. She lay down, closed her eyes, and for the first time in months, she prayed. Please, God, let us survive this. Tomorrow night would change everything. She just hoped they'd all make it out alive. 2 weeks passed. Kiara healed slowly, the bullet wound scarred pink against her brown skin. She touched it sometimes, when she thought no one was looking. A reminder? A badge. A price paid. Jaewon visited every day, morning, noon, night. He brought flowers she didn't ask for, no food she barely touched, toys for Nia, who was too young to play with them. You don't have to keep coming, she said one afternoon. Nia slept in her arms, tiny breaths against her chest. I want to. Why? Because you are here. That's not a reason. It's the only reason I need. She looked at him. Really looked. He had dark circles under his eyes. His hands shook when he poured water. He was exhausted, running an empire and playing father and trying to fix what he broke. It was too much for one man. When do you sleep? She asked. I don't. That's unhealthy. So is loving someone who hates you, but here we are. She didn't have an answer for that. She turned back to Nia. The baby made a small sound. Content. Safe. The police came yesterday, Kiara said quietly. Jaewon stiffened. What did they ask? They asked about Minho, about the shooting, about why I was there. What did you tell them? The truth. That he threatened me, that you tried to protect me, that someone else killed him. Did they believe you? I don't know. They took my statement. They said they'd contact me again. Jaewon stood, paced to the window, looked out at Seoul's skyline. Gray clouds gathered. Rain was coming. I can handle the police, he said. Can you? Or will you bribe them, like you bribe everyone else? I don't bribe everyone. Just the important people. He turned to face her. Is that what you think of me? That I'm corrupt all the way through? I think you do what you need to survive. Same as me. It's not the same, isn't it? I worked for Minho knowing he was dangerous. While you work with criminals knowing they're deadly. We both made choices. Bad ones. I'm trying to change. Words are easy. Then watch my actions. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. But belief required trust, and trust required time, and time felt like a luxury she couldn't afford. The hospital is releasing me tomorrow, she said. Where will you go? I don't know. I can't go back to Minho's estate. Can't afford my own place yet. Stay with me. No. Why not? Because I'm not your charity case. You're the mother of my child. That's not charity. That's family. We're not family. We're two people who made a mistake. Is Naya a mistake? His voice was sharp. No, never. But us? Yes. We were a mistake from the beginning. Jaewon crossed the room, knelt beside her chair. He didn't touch her, and just looked up at her with those dark eyes that used to make her melt. Let me prove it wasn't a mistake. Give me 1 month, 30 days. Stay in my apartment, separate rooms. No pressure. Just let me show you I've changed. And if you haven't, then you leave and I won't stop you. I'll give you money, an apartment, whatever you need to start over. No strings. She studied his face, looking for the lie, looking for the trap. She didn't find one. 1 month, she said finally. But the first time you lie to me, I'm gone. Deal. He stood, extended his hand. She shook it. Formal, distant, like signing a business contract. But when their skin touched, electricity sparked. She pulled away quickly, pretended she didn't feel it. He pretended too. The next day, Jaewon picked them up in a different car. Not the Audi. A modest sedan, gray, unremarkable. "Where's your fancy car?" she asked. "Sold it. Too flashy. Too many memories." She didn't comment, just buckled Nia into the car seat he'd installed. The baby gurgled happily, unaware of the tension between her parents. They drove through Seoul, away from the wealthy districts, toward the quieter neighborhoods. Trees lined the streets here. Children played in parks. Normal people living normal lives. Jaewon pulled up to a small apartment building. 5 stories. Clean, but not expensive. "This is it," he said. "This is where you live?" "For now. I sold the penthouse. Too many enemies knew where it was." They went inside. 3rd floor. 2-bedroom apartment. Simply furnished. A couch, a table, a crib already set up in the 2nd bedroom. Kiara walked through slowly, taking it in. No expensive art. No floor-to-ceiling windows, just a home. "When did you move here?" she asked. "Last week, after Minho died. I needed a fresh start." "And your business?" "I'm closing parts of it. The illegal parts. Keeping the legitimate operations." She turned to face him. "You're going straight?" "I'm trying. It's not easy. I have enemies. People who depend on the old ways. But I'm working with lawyers, making deals, getting out." "Why now?" "Because of her." He nodded toward Nia. "I don't want my daughter growing up with a criminal father. I want to be someone she can be proud of." Kiara's throat tightened. She blinked back tears. "That's a nice speech." "It's not a speech, it's the truth." "We'll see." She took Nia to the bedroom, set up her things. The baby needed feeding, changing. She focused on the routine. It kept her grounded. Jaewon made dinner. Nothing fancy. Rice, soup, grilled fish. He set the table, called her when it was ready. They ate in silence. The only sound was Nia babbling from her bouncer chair. "This is weird," Kiara said finally. "What is?" "This. Us. Playing house. We're not playing. We're trying. It feels fake. Give it time." "You keep saying that." "Time. Like time fixes everything. Doesn't it?" "No. Actions fix things. Time just passes." He set down his chopsticks. "Then tell me what action you need. I'll do it." She thought about it. What did she need? An apology? She'd heard those before. Money? She didn't want his money. Promises? Those were worthless. "I need honesty," she said. "Complete honesty. About everything. Your past. Your business. Why you really divorced me. Thought all of it." "Okay." "Okay? Just like that?" "Yes. Ask me anything. I'll tell you the truth." She took a breath. "Why did you divorce me 7 months ago?" His jaw tightened. He looked away, then back. "My father found out about you. About us. He said you were a liability. That your mother had been investigating our organization before she died. That you might know things. Dangerous things." Her heart stopped. "What?" "Your mother. Sarah Brooks. She was an investigative journalist. She was looking into Korean organized crime. My father's organization specifically. I know that. She told me. But she died in a car accident." "It wasn't an accident." The room tilted. Kiara gripped the table. "What are you saying?" "My father had her killed. 3 years ago. Because she was getting too close." Bile rose in her throat. "No, you knew?" "Not when we got married. I found out later, after we were together for a few months. My father told me. He wanted to see my reaction. Wanted to know if I'd choose you or the family." "And you chose the family." "No. I chose to protect you. If he thought I cared about you, he'd kill you too. So I made him think I didn't care. I divorced you. Made it brutal so you'd leave Korea and never come back. So you'd be safe. Tears streamed down her face. My mother. He killed my mother. Yes. And you knew. For months. And you said nothing. I was trying to find proof, to bring him down, to make him pay. Did you? Yes. 6 months ago. I killed him. She stared at him. You what? I killed my father, for what he did to your mother, for what he wanted to do to you. I ended him. The confession hung in the air, heavy, or irreversible. Kiara stood, walked to the window. Her hands shook, her mind raced. Her mother, murdered by Jae-won's father, and Jae-won had killed him. Revenge, justice, or just another crime. Say something, Jae-won said quietly. I don't know what to say. Say you understand. Say you forgive me. Forgive you? You lied to me for months. You knew who killed my mother, and you said nothing. I was protecting you. By lying, by pushing me away, by making me think you never loved me. Yes, she laughed, a harsh, broken sound. That's not protection. That's control. You decided what I could handle, what I should know. You took away my choice. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't bring her back. I know. She turned to face him. Is your father really dead? Yes. Prove it. He pulled out his phone, showed her a news article. Dated 6 months ago. Prominent businessman found dead. Heart attack. No foul play suspected. Heart attack, she said. That's what the coroner reported, but it was poison. Slow acting. Painful. You murdered him. Yes. And you're telling me this why? So I'll what? Thank you? Applaud you? So you'll know the truth. You said you wanted honesty. This is it. All of it. She sank into the chair, put her head in her hands. Naya started crying. The sound pierced through the tension. Kiara went to her, picked her up, rocked her gently. The baby quieted, nestled against her chest. I need time to process this, Kiara said. Take all the time you need. I'm going to bed. She carried Nia to the bedroom, closed the door, locked it. Inside, she sat on the bed, held her daughter, cried silently. Her mother was murdered. What Jae-won knew, he'd killed his own father, and now they were living together, playing family, with a dead body between them. How was she supposed to move forward from this? Days passed. Kiara barely spoke to Jae-won. They existed in the same space, shared meals, took care of Nia, but the warmth was gone, replaced by cold politeness. Jae-won didn't push. He gave her space, went to work, came home, helped with the baby, asked for nothing. On the 5th day, Kiara found a box on the kitchen table. Small, wooden, her name carved on top. She opened it. Inside were letters, dozens of them, all addressed to her, all in her mother's handwriting. Her hands shook. She pulled out the first one. Read it. My dearest Kiara, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell you everything. About my work, about the danger. But I thought I could finish it before anything happened. I was wrong. Inside this box are all my notes, all my research, everything I found about the organization. Use it wisely. Make them pay. I love you always. Mom. Tears blurred her vision. She opened another letter. And another. Each one detailed her mother's investigation. Names, dates, crimes, evidence, all pointing to Jae-won's father, and to Min-ho. Min-ho. He'd been part of it too. He'd helped cover up the murder. He'd known all along. That's why he hired her, not just to get to Jae-won, but to watch her, to make sure she didn't know, didn't remember. She looked up. Jae-won stood in the doorway. Where did you get these? She asked. Your mother gave them to a lawyer, with instructions to deliver them to you if anything happened to her. The lawyer tracked me down last month, after my father died. He thought I should see them first. Make sure they were safe to give you. You read them, yes, and you still gave them to me. They're yours. They were always yours. She set down the letters, stood, walked to him. Thank you. He looked surprised. For what? For this. For the truth. For not hiding it anymore. I should have given them to you sooner. Probably. But you gave them to me now. That counts for something. She didn't hug him. Didn't touch him. But something shifted. A small crack in the wall between them. I want to use these, she said. Use them how? To finish what my mother started. To expose the organization. To make sure no one else gets hurt. That's dangerous. I don't care. Kiara, think about Nia. If you go after these people, they'll come after you. They already came after me. Minho, your father. I'm tired of running. Tired of being a victim. I want to fight back. He studied her, seeing the determination in her eyes. The fire. Okay, he said. Then we do it together. Together? I have resources, connections, lawyers who can help. You have the evidence. We combine forces. Take them all down. Why would you help me? Some of these people are your allies. We're my allies. Not anymore. I'm done with that life. And if helping you means burning it all down, then that's what we'll do. She searched his face, looking for the catch, the angle. She found only sincerity. Okay, she said. Partners. Partners. They shook hands again. This time, when their skin touched, she didn't pull away. Over the next month, they worked. Late nights. Early mornings. Compiling evidence. Building cases. Working with prosecutors who'd been trying to crack the organization for years. Slowly, arrests were made. Operations shut down. The empire that Jaewon's father built crumbled. And through it all, Kiara watched Jaewon, watched him dismantle everything he'd known, watched him choose the hard path, the honest path, watched him change. One night, after Nia was asleep, they sat on the couch, exhausted. A prosecutor had just called. Another arrest made. Another piece of the puzzle falling into place. We're winning, Kiara said. We are. How does it feel? Destroying your own family's legacy. Like freedom. She looked at him. He looked lighter somehow. Younger. Like a weight had lifted. I'm proud of you, she said quietly. He turned to her. Eyes wide. Well, what? I said I'm proud of you. You're doing the right thing. Finally. I don't deserve that. Maybe not. But I'm saying it anyway. He reached for her hand, hesitated. She took his hand first, laced their fingers together. I miss you, he said. I'm right here. No. I miss us. The way we were, before everything fell apart. We can't go back to that. That couple doesn't exist anymore. Then let's be someone new, someone better. Is that possible? I don't know, but I want to try. She leaned her head on his shoulder, just for a moment, letting herself feel safe, letting herself hope. Me too, she whispered. 3 months later, the last arrest was made. The organization was finished. Jaewon's businesses were clean, legitimate, legal. The prosecutor called to thank them, to tell them they'd changed everything. Hadn't saved lives, made the city safer. Kiara hung up the phone, turned to Jaewon. It's done. It is. What now? He got down on one knee. Her heart stopped. What are you doing? Something I should have done differently the first time. He pulled out a small box. Opened it. Inside was a simple ring. Not expensive. Not flashy. Just beautiful. Kiara Brooks, you're the strongest person I know. You're brilliant. You're fierce. You're an amazing mother. And I love you. I've loved you since the day we met. I loved you when I pushed you away. I loved you every day you were gone. And I love you now. more than ever. Tears filled her eyes. I'm not asking you to forget what I did. I'm not asking you to pretend it didn't happen. I'm asking you to build something new with me, a real partnership, based on honesty, on trust, so on choice. Jae-won, marry me, again, not because of Nia, not because it's convenient, but because we choose each other, every day, even when it's hard. She looked at the ring, at his face, at the hope in his eyes. I have conditions, she said. Name them. Complete honesty. Always. No more secrets. Agreed. Equal partnership. In everything. Money. Decisions. Parenting. Agreed. If you ever go back to that life, if you ever lie to me again, I walk, and you don't fight me. Agreed. And we do therapy. Real therapy. To work through all of this. Agreed. And one more thing. Anything. You have to ask Nia's permission too. He laughed. Actual laughter. Joyful and free. They went to Nia's room. She was awake, playing with her toes. 9 months old now. Growing fast. Nia, Jae-won said. Can I marry your mama? The baby giggled, reached for him. I think that's a yes.